At first glance, the Wabigoon River appears like any other river in northwestern Ontario. From above, or from a highway bridge in passing, the river is beautiful, even peaceful. The waters of the Wabigoon meander for over 200 kilometers, through the boreal forest, cascading over the Canadian Shield on its way to the English River. To some, the Wabigoon River also looks like a playground. Powerful hydraulics, big water drops, tight margins for error, the perfect rush. It's a world-class whitewater playground for the adventure-seeking kayakers looking for their next adrenaline fix. Getting to know a river takes time. To stand at its banks, to feel its rhythm, to ask questions, to ask permission, and to listen to its long answers, we might learn there is more to a river than what we see at first glance. To those few who stop to listen, you will learn that the silty waters of the Wabigoon flow with a particular heavy burden. The Wabigoon River is angry, and angry for a good reason.
I'll say my spirit name first, the Bishkogishgok, the Jnikas, Bishondotam. I'm Judy De Silva from Grassy Narrows. A little bit about myself is I'm the environmental health coordinator for Grassy Narrows First Nation, but I always see myself first as a mother and a grandmother, and that's what helps me to keep doing things that I do is for my relatives, my children. Yeah. The Dryden Mill started in 1919, and it was to get the logs, the softwoods from the forest. But in the 1960s, by then they had a big mill in Dryden, which is 200 kilometers upstream on the Wabigoon River. And they started using mercury as a way of processing their products. And by 1972, they had dumped 9,000 kilograms or 10 tons of mercury into the river system. Mercury is a heavy metal, and it goes to it's heavy, so it goes to the bottom sediment. And then the bottom feeders are the first ones to get exposed, which is like crayfish and little minnows. A bigger fish will eat the little minnow or the crayfish, and then a bigger fish will eat that other fish. It keeps going till it gets to the human size, and where we eat a pickerel. And by then it had eaten so much that by the time they're that size, the mercury is very toxic in that fish. Walleye and northern are really high in mercury poisoning, so don't eat those, but we still eat them because it's our way of life, who we are. and we eat fish. And people will say, why do you keep eating contaminated fish? And I said, your Christmas turkey, you know it's full of chemicals, hormones. Will you stop eating your Christmas turkey? Because it's a long tradition to have it at Christmas with your family. And it's like huge turkey, right? It's like a balloon. And you say, oh my God, what a beautiful turkey. But meanwhile, it's full of chemicals. And you're cutting it and you're feeding your family. So that's the question I put back to people, like when they say, why do you keep eating contaminated fish? And it's because it's part of who we are. And you can't get poisoned by eating one fish, but you can start showing effects of the mercury poisoning if you eat fish like maybe once a month for a year, for 10 years, for 20 years, 30 years, then you start showing the symptoms of the mercury. And mercury poison is a neurological toxin. So for people, maybe by the time, like say me, I'm poisoned by mercury and I could feel the signs on myself. Sometimes I have a hard time to swallow and I choke on my food. But some people, like, they show other symptoms, and they've labeled some of our people with Alzheimer's, dementia, Kennedy's disease, Parkinson's, and they've treated people with those pills, like with ALS, and those pills didn't work. But it's because it's mercury, and you can't treat mercury. So for the dumping that happened, it's had a long-lasting like web of effects in our community, and like health-wise, the social pattern of our people, the cultural pattern of our people, it's affected us far. Yeah, I guess I'd like to say to the listeners, like we're all in this together. And we need to stand with each other to make changes in the Canadian government for environmental protection, water protection, air protection, and now's the time to wake up and help each other.
It's been 60 years since the river was poisoned, and today the mercury levels in the Wabigoon remain high, way beyond what is safe. No cleanup has ever been undertaken. It is said that by throwing one stone into the river, you can change the nature of that river forever. If you dump 10 tons of mercury into the Wabigoon River, you not only change the nature of the river, but you also change all life downstream. In Grassy Narrows, a community of approximately 1,000 people, 3 generations have been poisoned.
We have like a huge group of supporters, and they have a site that helps us. It's called freegrassy.net. So it goes in there and you can click on there and how to help. So people can log in there, freegrassy.net, and people can figure out from there how they can help. Yeah. Okay, when he goes like this, it means
You can tell we're amateurs. They don't have one of those.
birds quiet.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous myself. I've never done this before. Yeah, bear with me.